is a layman when it comes to science, and is a layman when it comes to philosophy, and is a layman when it comes to Islamic theology, and is a layman when it comes to the Arabic language, has the audacity to come and say...
my memory of how I've remembered all your arguments. He said,
What did he say?
how dare you, a layman in philosophy, a layman in Arabic, a layman in embryology, have the audacity to stand in front of me. Do you all remember him saying that?
He said there's no ossification. Ossification is when bone forms, and this is also referred to as osteogenesis, okay? He also said bones then flesh. Now let's be very clear. The word bones in Arabic is idham. Now the word in the ayah was idham. The word idham in the Arabic language includes cartilage, by the way. How do we know that? If you look at the Arabic lexicons, and I can give you the names of them if you like.
I'd like you to pull it up and show us.
Lisan al-Arab from Ibn Manzur.
Yeah, no, can you pull it up? Can we see it?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, let's pull it up.
So, for example, I'll read it exactly as it says in the lexicon, right?
Yeah.
So basically, this is what Ibn Manzur says in his lexicon.
Just quote him the Arabic, let's see if you understand.
Well, it says Al-Fayruz Abadi mentions. Al-Fayruz Abadi is another Arabic lexicon, okay? Al-Ghudruf, and this is, he died 817 Hijri.
Yeah.
Al-Ghudruf, wal-Ghudruf, kullu admin. Guys, please, I'm quoting it.
JC, just let him.
I'm quoting it by the word. So there's no one here going to say, get me a reference. I'm quoting it. He says, Al-Ghudruf kullu admin rakhsin yu'kalu wa huwa marin al-unfi wa نغض الكتف ورؤوس الأصنع. Yeah, and this is in, I'll tell you exactly where it is. It is in Fayruz Abadi's Qamus al-Muhit, volume 1, page 840. Any issues?
So yes, I have an issue.
Okay, let me finish.
Yeah, I'll let you finish, but I have an issue, yes.
Now that we have established, have we not, with references, have we not, that al-ghudruf, which is cartilage, is bone and cartilage can be used synonymously. He said that ossification doesn't happen. That's absolutely absurd.
No, I didn't say that.
No, he did say it at this point. He did say that.
I didn't say that.
No, he didn't say that. I didn't say that. I heard him.
Now he's making scientific mistakes. He said there's no reference as well.
Okay, let him make his point. Let him make his point. Let him make his point.
Calm down, because he's saying that there's no reference. I've got a book called The Fundamentals of Human Embryology. Be quiet, please. The Fundamentals of Human Embryology.
Printed where, please?
Yeah, okay, I'll tell you. Page 148, this is a book that is used by biologists in their first or second year. And this is also a book that is used by medical students and others. It's a book called The Fundamentals of Human Embryology.
Okay, we'll look at it where
it might be Oxford University Press. I'm not going to give you like a full bibliography.
Okay, it's okay.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, fair enough. Carry on. I'll give you that one.
All right, look, page 148. Listen to what it said. Soon after the cartilaginous models of the bones have been established, the myogenic cells, which have now become myoblasts, aggregate to form muscle masses on the ventral and dorsal aspects of the limbs. These muscle masses in the relevant compartments form the flexors and extensors of the joints. Rotator muscles are also formed so that flexors and pronators are related and extenders are and supinators are related. Now this is very, very clear to me, and it's actually a reference.
Can I reply to this?
Wait, when somebody is a layman when it comes to science, and is a layman when it comes to philosophy, and is a layman when it comes to Islamic theology, and is a layman when it comes to the Arabic language, has the audacity to come and stand for, excuse me.
It's all right, let him. I've got him. It's all right.
Has the audacity to come in front of...
It's all right, I've got him.
No, let me finish. Has the audacity to come in front of me, making two false claims, the first of which is that the Quran has said...
Hijab. Come on.
Let me finish. Let me finish. He said it on the camera. He said it on the camera, and this is at the age of technology. He said ossification doesn't happen at this stage. That's false. That is false. Osteogenesis.
He didn't say that.
It's all right.
We can rewind it.
Okay.
We can rewind it.
Hijab, let me reply.
Ossification does take place by the admission of the authorities, and that's what people are using in universities all across this country. Number two.
No.
Number two. Excuse me. Let me finish. I gave you a reference. Number two.
Why weren't you saying that to Mansour?
Number two.
Come on, you're going on too long, Hijab. This is why we need to do it time. This is why we need to do it time.
Let me finish this point.
And then we'll do it time. Okay.
But I'm just making one more point.
Okay, go on. Yeah, sure.
Number two. فَكَسَوْنَ الْعِظَامَ لَحْمًا. Is the only interpretation in the Quran that the fa is chronological or ta'qib, meaning is it chronological? No. There are two interpretations in the Islamic understanding. One of them is that it is chronological, and the other one is that it's not chronological. And Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, he takes the view that all of it happens in the first 40 days. And he mentions that in his Sharh of the Hadith of إِنَّ أَحَدَكُمْ لِيَكُونَ فِي بَطْنِ أُمِّهِ 40 يَوْمًا مُضْغَةً علقة نطفة ثم يكون علقة بعد ذلك ثم يكون مضغة بعد ذلك. And then he says, and then because you know, excuse me, hold on, hold on. This hadith says, and
wait, Hijab, you just come on, bro. You're just going on and on and on.
Let me finish.
We're waiting, but you're not finishing though. You're just making a new point and a new point.
Let me finish.
Go
I
on.
need to hear all the data.
No, you're just going on and on and on. You're not finishing though. You're not finishing though.
Give me what?
You're not finishing though. Carry on.
Because you know it's going to
There's another way of the hadith.
Oh gosh, come on. Another one.
Listen, finished. Calm down, please.
Then talk as much.
He said, there's another hadith, very important. ثم في ذلك مثل ذلك. This is very important. So he said that in the hadith of Muslim, and the hadith of Sahih Muslim, it's في ذلك مثل ذلك, which means in that time. Listen, it means in that time it will be like that. So because it said في ذلك مثل ذلك, the opinion of the Hanabila in the matter, the Hanbalis, is that it all happens in 40 days. Why is it there for that there's a difference of opinion among the fuqaha?
Wait, you're just making another point, Hijab.
Charles Dickens.
Just making another point. Look, let me reply. But you're not finishing, Hijab. You're not finishing, Hijab. You're just not finishing. You're not finishing. But you're not finishing. No, you're not, though. You're just going to make another point.
That's why the fuqaha have differed, the jurists have differed as to when a woman can have an abortion. Some say 120 days, some say 40 days. The ones who say it will happen in 40 days, based on the hadith and the interpretation of the hadith of Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali and other Hanbali.
Can I reply now? You're making another point. Hijab, let me reply. You're just making another point.
In summary, number one, the interpretation of chronology is not consensus. Number two, even if you say it is, it includes the cartilaginous models, and that is what, according to this book, which is an authority that all of the doctors are using, is actually happening. Ossification and mesogenesis are happening at the same time, and that means to say that the cartilaginous models are moving in the way that the Quran says. You have nowhere to go.
Okay, so now let me reply. Okay, we're just going to change the battery.
And then we're going to move on to the Bible, where he's going to have nowhere to run.
Okay, so guys, I listened carefully to the book that he quoted.
Okay.
And this is why I didn't want him to go on making point after point after point after point, so that we could address all the points. This is how you construct a fake miracle. You blind people with words. It's a rhetorical device called sophism. It's just sophistry. You bring out lots and lots of things. People can't grasp all the points that you're making, and then because they can't process all the information, they just accept the summary. And this is a tactic that Hijab has just demonstrated perfectly.
Masterfully.
Notice the interruption. Notice the interruption. So, ladies and gentlemen, I listened to the quote from the book that he quoted. And what I heard was that bones and flesh grow together. But if you remembered when I asked Hijab to name the stages, he said, and you'll see the flashback on our picture on Soko Films, he said that bones came before flesh.
He did.
That's what he said.
Yes.
So he said the bones came before flesh, and then he quoted a book that said exactly the opposite. And he thought that I wouldn't notice.
Okay.
And he thought that I wouldn't notice.
Good tactic.
But I did notice because I have examined this sophistry before, and I understand its rudimentary tactic. The idea is to blind you with lots of big sounding words. Let me just clarify. Let me just clarify.
Clarify, Bob.
In another part of the Quran, so we read 23, 12 to 14.
We did.
But in 2, in Surah 2, Ayah 259, it also says exactly the same. It's towards the end of the verse, if you're going to recite it.
There's two qira'ahs now.
Yeah.
ثم ننشزها عظمى and ثم ننشرها عظمى.
Right, okay, let me give the English.
But you won't get what.
Let me give the English, bro. Yeah.
So that's why you need.
I am still making my point, Hijab.
It's fine, bro.
Hijab, I'm still making my point.
Take your time, please.
Yeah. Okay. So, in Surah 2, 259, it reads.
Yeah, please.
Does help if I get to it.
Do you want me to help you out with that?
No, I can find it, thank you. It's just a case of, it's just a case.
Embryology, you know that.
He said, now notice he said it's not about embryology.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so let's actually look at whether it talks about embryology.
Okay,
It says this,
What does it say, Bob?
and thus we have made of you a sign for the people. Look at the bones, how we bring them together and clothe them with flesh. When this was clearly shown to him, he said, I know that Allah is able to do all things. No, don't interrupt. You insisted that I didn't interrupt. I'm going to say everything I've got to say. You've got to listen.
Listen.
So the fact of the matter is, in two places, the Quran says bones, then flesh. Hijab said bones, then flesh, and then quoted a book that said flesh and bones grow together. That's what he did, and he hoped you wouldn't notice. Now, he also talked about ossification. He also talked about ossification. The reality is, unless Hijab wants to say that he is an embryologist, it is clear from every work of embryology that bones are not immediately ossified. They begin as cartilage. The Quran does not mention cartilage. He said, have you got a problem with that, when he quoted the lexicon? And I said, yes, I do. But he insisted that he finish all of his many points. Are you honestly telling me that Allah doesn't have a word for cartilage when he wants to talk about cartilage, and he doesn't have a word for bones when he wants to talk about bones? No, you're going to listen. He's losing his patience now. He won't. Oh, and look at the interruption. It's all right. So,
Tell me when you're finished.
yeah, I'm going to. But I'm going to finish all my points. Like you mentioned a lot. I've tried. No. Don't interrupt. Don't interrupt.
I'm not
Stop interrupting. Just stop interrupting. Right. So the reality is, and I just challenge you to check me now. Do bones? What is a bone? A bone is an ossified cartilage. There is a reason why we have distinct words for cartilage and bones. And what you're saying is, Allah is inaccurate in his description because he can't use a word for cartilage. He uses one that could mean cartilage and could mean bones, or could mean the two things together. If he means the two things together, then it's an error, because cartilage is not bone. If it could be cartilage or could be bone, then it's an error, because it should be cartilage, not bone. So either way, the Quran is wrong. Now, he said, Hijab, are you impressed at my memory of how I've remembered all your arguments? He said,
What did he say?
how dare you, a layman in philosophy, a layman in Arabic, a layman in embryology, have the audacity to stand in front of me? Do you all remember him saying that? Do you see, he's not the only one with a good memory. Let's just correct a fact. He came and stood in front of me, not the other way around. But secondly, he is a layman in embryology. He is a layman on this topic, but I'll tell you someone who isn't a layman in embryology. Here's someone who isn't a layman in embryology. So, someone who isn't a layman in embryology is Dr. P. Said Myers, a human biologist from the University of Minnesota.
Okay.
He describes the Quran's understanding of embryology as follows:
Read it.
vague and fuzzy and basically stealing from Aristotle. That's what a real embryologist says about the Quran.
Stealing. What does he know about the Quran?
Now, why? This is the interesting point.
Yeah.
Why does he say the Quran is stealing from Aristotle?
Why?
Now, personally, I think he's wrong. I think there were Arab doctors at the time who were educated in medicine. But if you listen to Aristotle's words, listen to this.
Read it, Bob.
This is quoting from quoting Aristotle's work on the parts of animals.
Okay.
Aristotle lived 350 years before Christ, which makes him 1,000 years before Mohammed.
I thought it was 337.
And listen, no, 350. And this is what he says. Stop interrupting. This is embryology according to Aristotle.
Bob.
Listen.
He's saying.
Around about the bones and attached to them by the fibrous bonds grow fleshy parts, for the sake of which the bones exist. Does that sound familiar? Bones, then flesh. That was a common understanding at the time of Muhammad. There is nothing miraculous about what the Quran says,
Nothing.
and the Quran gets it wrong.
Thank you very much. Now it's my turn.